So I got this question about testing and if it works for all exercises and what else you can use for a test besides a toe touch test. I hope you guys will forgive me. I'm wearing an Affliction shirt, so I hope you don't think I'm too much of a douchebag. But the short answer is yes, you can use it for any exercise and you could use any range of motion you want. I like the toe touch test, and a lot of other people do because it's easy to see. However, the second most common one I would say would be a shoulder abduction test, where you raise your arm to the side like this. Same rule still applies. You stop when you feel tension, which for me is about right here. And for the shoulder abduction, it's right there. Today for the toe touch, it is right there, right above my sock line. And yes, you can use any exercise. I used the plate curl in the first video just because I had a plate and it was relatively easy to do. Today I'll demonstrate it with a military press. The order of operations for this is to stand like you would for a military press, get ready to do a military press without any weight, and then retest. My arm got higher. My range of motion on my toe touch. Range of motion on the toe touch got better, got to the tongue of my shoe. And then after you find out what tests well, you start making your modifications from there, or to move in a more simple way, we'll test the weight. Got some kettlebells right here, we'll test the weight. So the toe touch on the unweighted military press got me to the tongue of my shoe. Let's see where the 35-pound kettlebell moves me to. So I will do that now. A little bit past the tongue of my shoe, got to the shoelaces. Arm a little bit higher. So that was a 35-pound kettlebell. Now let me try a heavier kettlebell, a 50-pounder. We'll see where this one takes me. That one got me even further down my shoe, and my arm got even higher before I felt the tension. So that was 50 pounds. Let's try heavier, because maybe heavier will test well for me today. 65 pounds, a 50-pound kettlebell and a 15-pound kettlebell. Got to the end of my shoes there. See where the arm goes. Arm goes significantly higher before I feel tension. So yes, you can use it on any exercise. I just happen to choose the military press because it's arbitrary. You can also test the weights that you use. So you'll notice what I did. I kept going. As each one tested better, I kept going. And theoretically, if I had heavier kettlebells here, perhaps a 75-pound kettlebell or an 80-pound, I could test that. And depending on where the test went, if it got better, I could say, okay, I'm going to use that for my military press workout today. Or if it got worse, I would say, you know what? I'm going to stop and I'm going to use the 65-pound kettlebell because it is the one that tested the best. And then you would, just like in the first video, which I'll link in the description, just like in the first video, you stop when it gets difficult, and provided it keeps testing well, you keep on doing your exercise. As soon as it stops testing well, as soon as your speed slows down, as soon as you start getting too tense, as soon as your form starts to deteriorate, that is when you stop your set, so that way you can live to fight another day. In addition to that, you want to follow your testing based on whatever your goal is. If your goal is to have a heavy deadlift, you'll want to test out the deadlift as often as you can. If your goal is to have a better military press in one hand, you would test out the military press as often as you can. save it for another video, but there are things that you do after that based on your goals that you can do if your goal movement does not test well. But that's a whole different video and take a little bit more time to explain. So we'll get to that later. But for now, yes, use whatever range of motion you want. Two common ones are the toe touch, shoulder abduction. Stop both when you feel tension. Now these are not the only ones you could use. You could use any range of motion that you feel sensitive in. Another common one would be shoulder extension, shoulder flexion, and you have all those to choose from, and you should be good to go. Pick whichever one you're sensitive to, pick your goal movement, and test based on that, and then whichever one tests well, work up the weights, and pick whichever weight tests the best. Hopefully that helps.